Hello, everybody, and welcome to the newest indoor adventure in our once-monthly game called the Looming 20s. It's an incredible journey, and we get to play that today, October 23rd, 2019. And before we begin, I would like to remind every single one of you out there that you are loved, you are capable of love, and we believe in you. And that is a message that we are going to continue to spout every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday at 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, as well as the occasional Wednesday. But know it to be true within your heart. So, if this is your first time watching this show, consider checking us out at youtube.com/indoor adventures, or go to anywhere podcasts are available. Check us out under the same moniker, and you will find the audio-only version of all of these podcasts. If you subscribe to us on Twitch, follow us on YouTube, and maybe check out our respective Twitters or something along those lines. But you're looking for more ways to support the show, consider going to patreon.com/indoor adventures, where you can gain access to our after show called Nights in the Courtyard, where we answer questions not only from the community, but also from each other. So if you have any questions, feel free to join us on our Discord that you can find the link to below, and you will gain access to a channel called Questions for the Courts, where we will then do our best to answer your question after the game. With that, say you already support us on all of these things, except you're looking for additional ways to support the show, consider going to bit.ly/adventure merch. We got t-shirts and sweatshirts and posters. I'm still getting used to the direction of my camera. We got mugs. We got all sorts of stuff that we have out there for all of you fans. We have ham pants for our Saltmarsh game. We have a Looming 20s mug. We even have a mug dedicated to Todd the Goat, who is presented by our dear friend Bonus Stage Rob. We got a lot of great stuff on the merch store, so consider going to check that out. But that is it for my spiel. So, Satan, who are you playing tonight?
Hello, I am Satan, and I'll be playing the lovely, the mysterious Lilith Molyneux, who is a vampire mobster. I dressed up a little bit for her because it's almost Halloween, and I love her, and I love you, and I want to look nice for everyone.
All right, Danae, who are you playing?
I'm going to be playing Ruhaka, the detective.
That's it.
That's all you get.
Just watch the other shows.
All right, and Jen, who are you playing tonight?
I'm playing Beltane Hawthorne, the Fey being that's under service of Lily Molyneux, in service to the Great House of Molyneux. He's a gangster / hopefully teacher down the road.
And I am the indoor adventurer, and tonight I'm going to be playing Hazel Harker, the young psychic bopper from the 1920s who's just had a really rough go. She got turned into a vampire by Lilith, and now she's, murdered a couple people. A couple dozen people. Closer to about 100. But who's counting? It's fine. Anyways.
Murder, it happens.
That's the tagline of this show.
God, we should, yeah.
Right.
You can make, that's your next shirt. There you go. Murder, it happens.
And GB, would you like to take us away?
Well, I'm Greybeard of Greybeard's Tavern, and tonight we are going to have our spooktacular. Because Halloween's coming up, I love me some Halloween, and we will be playing this absolutely fun system that I wrote at 1 a.m. the day before we played, and we have loved it so much that we keep playing it, and we're going to hope to come back to it every month until we don't want to do it anymore. So forever. Anyway, we've got hopefully I've got a couple of good surprises for you guys tonight, a little bit of spookiness. We will be playing with safety tools this evening because I planned to go some places this evening. So If ever you're feeling uncomfortable, shout out X, use your X card, whatever, get our attention, and let us know we need to stop. You too, chat, if something's getting somewhere that you do not personally like, either sign out for a minute or let us know. I will not be watching chat, so if you guys could keep an eye on that, that'd be great. So X is for stop. O is for can we move this along, or skip a bit. Little heart is so you love us all.
Hearts are usually when people sub or donate bits, but we're in the middle of a scene.
Yep. So with that, I will throw some props on the floor, which I'll get later. And let us proceed to take these skull gloves off because I can't push the things. We join our party. Oh, real quick, before we get to All Hallows Eve, the journey from New Orleans was fraught with danger. The last time our prospective, I can't even call you guys heroes.
Oh no.
Protagonists.
There you go.
They almost ended up making a deal with the devil. And
one of us. Her actions don't reflect the views of the party.
Yeah, well, they ended up making the acquaintance of one of the voodoo masters of all time, and they dodged the deal with the devil while New Orleans burned over Mardi Gras, and they were traveling home in their panel van, which eventually will become a hearse, a way cool hearse. Check out, I think we tweeted it at some point. If not, I'll go on Biggie Bad Wolf and we'll put some stuff down. I'll try to start tweeting over there for this campaign because Don Biggie Bad Wolf at Don Biggie Bad Wolf over on Twitter. He's a character here in the milieu, as it were. So other than that, is there anything? Oh, fraught with danger. On the way, the vampire council that you guys tried to murder tried to seek vengeance out, and at one point, what was the truck's name, Beltane? Pete?
What?
Puck? Oh, Puck the truck. So at one point during the day when you or Rue were driving, there was a tree down in the road, and some more than disreputable individuals began to fill the truck, Puck the truck, with Tommy gun fire, which put Hazel and Lilith in a very bad spot. There were suddenly beams of light shooting through. They had to Catherine Zeta-Jones themselves and keep down or get burned. But because Rue and Beltane are hellacious gunfighters, you managed to get through that situation. Now, you do know that there is probably a coming war with the Vampire Council. Lilith is kind of the oldest vampire on the East Coast at this point that you know of, and so she's kind of a council member, but the whole assassination thing, politics are up in the air. But
we try to murder your council members that you're a part of.
Yeah.
Whoops.
It's just business.
It's just business. Does anyone else have anything before we really get going about the trip, details or things they wanted to happen? I know that Beltane had some things that she was teaching Rue and Hazel to drive and to shoot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then Hazel decided she didn't want to learn to actually shoot, but use her telekinetic powers to throw bullets with her mind.
Yes.
Right?
Why not?
All right. And Rue, you already knew how to shoot, right? You're like a pistolier. So
Crack shot.
So, again, I wrote this system in the middle of the night, so we'll just go over it real quick. It's based basically on Fate, Dungeon World, Cipher, and one other one, which
Apocalypse?
that's Dungeon World is an apocalypse engine.
Whoops.
So we have wonderful stats like brawn, agility, fortitude, brains, moxie, and charm. And we also have physique points and sanity points because there's this horror element. We try to have fun and craziness, but tonight I think we're gonna get a little spoopy. But so if that's like I said, if that's the case, let me know. All right.
Do we reset our luck points?
Yes. It is actually it is fall. Seasons have passed. We're not going to bother with the adding new powers or anything. We're going to say that after the New Orleans endeavor, you guys have been watching your backs and haven't been able to do much of anything but propagate and do politics and try to keep out of a war. Reset your luck, reset your physique, or your sanity, your physique, and your luck points. I think, did we say we were going to change how we use luck points? That's going to be a big one.
I think we did.
Yeah. Let me see if I took notes on...
I realized there was one thing that I wanted to do during the time skip, which is see about making Jambalaya Weber my familiar.
Yes. Okay. How about you tell that story while I look up the how Jambalaya Weber came into existence?
I threw him up. I drank some of my sister's blood because I was having a bad time, and then I got a wicked bad tummy ache, and I threw up some swamp patches of water, and through one of the patches of water came a frog, and I telekinesis him to myself. He is my little froggy son that I named Jambalaya Weber because it made the most sense at the time. And the way that I want to see about getting him to be my familiar, if possible, is to try and like reach out to this frog, because I have telekinesis. I want to see if I can like influence the frog at all to just sort of like either follow me around or be really cool up on a shoulder, or like if I need him to go and look at something, then he would be able in small areas to then come back. It's a frog brain, so I'm assuming that it's not going to be the most powerful. I'm probably going to be getting like crayon pictures as the message back, showing a crude estimation of what it is that they saw.
Now, do you have
Because I have the ability to move stuff, but I used to be able to like astral projection and stuff like that.
Right.
So this is more of like trying to call back to those specifically at a frog level.
Right. You still have okay, let's just go through our powers real quick. Sorry those out there in show land. That way it'll help me remember too. So Hazel's powers were
telekinesis, and then she got bit by a vampire, so she gained vampire abilities, and most recently she has gained energy vampire powers.
And she lost some of the vampire powers to gain the energy draw.
Yes.
Okay, so she draws raw life force rather than blood from people. Okay. All right. Lilith, how about you run us through your powers real quick?
Of course, I have a look into my eyes, which is what I use to charm people. I don't drink wine, which is me gaining HP back and doing a little bit of damage with my fangs. Now you see me, which makes me really fast. Unleash the Beast, which is my Super Saiyan form.
Mm-hmm.
And the Heart of Darkness, which is my control over shadows.
Oh, yes. The Heart of Darkness. I nearly forgot that one. So glad you brought that up. How about Beltane? What are your powers?
He has invisibility, So part of his old Fey abilities, Fading Light, which allows him to jump short distances, Persuasion, Guns, Driving, and some mechanical abilities, and the newest one, Touch of Humanity.
Oh,
Not happy about that.
And what did we say about that, about the touch of humanity?
It's a Fey mask, somewhat hidden from Fey, and he's just not happy about that at all.
Oh yeah. So that the Fey Council can no longer track you. But,
okay. We've added those side consequences to it too.
Okay. And Rue Parker. What happened to you? You used to be just a plain old human.
This is true. Well, I have the sight, which means even though I'm a plain old human, I can see past the veil, which is this magical
Veil.
A force which
cheat.
Go ahead.
A magical force that like hides things that are magic.
It keeps muggles from seeing that which they don't want to see. Trolls,
Exactly.
gnolls, knocky dinkies, that kind of thing.
Precisely. I also have Hit the Streets, which allows me to gather information and rumors. Usually I have this army of newsies that are comprised of goblins.
Sometimes
unless
really
they're
an
dead,
actual
they might all
child.
be dead now.
They come and go really fast. It's fine.
They breed quickly.
Yeah.
And I've also got Crackshot, which is, I'm just, I used to be a policeman, a police person on the force, and so I was trained in shooting. I have Know Thy Enemy, because I have done a lot of studying on supernatural, and I have Occultism, because I got into a book that I shouldn't have, and now I have a small smidgen of magical power.
All right, and with that, we come in over the small town of almost screwed it up. Hold on one moment. I will actually check my notes. Klaveroft. And so we come in over the small town, a sleepy town. Uh-oh. Come on, special effects. Really? You gonna let me down? Yep, guess so. Oh, I know why. Hey, Hazel, why don't you tell people a little more, read down your powers and whatnot?
All right, so I have Object Reading Plus, which is based on my Moxie. Object Reading Plus basically is like Abe Sapien from Hellboy, where I can touch things and then find out these glimpses into their past or what have you, which makes things easy when investigating, so I can maybe be useful to my sister. I have my Watch This ability, which, if you are familiar with this series at all, you know that I will try and use Watch This for everything.
Literally for everything.
It is my favorite power, and it is, I am a telekinetic, so I can just move objects with my mind, but I'm not limited to a small imagination, so I have moved anything from every wooden stake in the room to target a bunch of vampires, which in hindsight was a bad idea because they were a bunch of vampire lords, and now we might be at war, but I was just a little hasty. To something as significant as toppling a building to crush a bunch of vampire hunters because they were trying to fucking kill me and they were mean. I also have the Look Into My Eyes ability that Lilith has because Lilith is my vampire siress. My matriarch. Mistress is fine.
I think sire is gender neutral in the
Yeah,
terms of
all right.
I think so. Vampire
This is my
side.
vampire liege.
My liege.
Your mom.
That's my mom.
I'm your
my
mother,
mom.
and you will listen to me right now.
And then I also have my blood charm ability / cute as a button, which is when I bite the normies, I have a brief amount of psychic control over them in that they want to do things my way. Up till a certain point, and I also drain them. And then my last ability is energy vampire powers, because I got that at the end of the last session, and then GB and I were like, yes, we will talk about what these energy vampire powers mean. And then we didn't, because life got really busy for me. But I'm sure I will ask the right questions when it comes to them earlier. And now GB
We'll
is
make
in
this up and slow it down.
fog for you audiocast listeners.
All right. So we come in over our town. It is All Hallows Eve, the night the veil falls in I keep screwing the name up. Does anyone have it down anywhere?
Nope.
No, no one has it.
I have a lighter and a rowing bracelet,
How dare you?
I have mistletoe and wolfsbane.
but I don't have the
All
name of the
I
town.
got a parasol.
Anyway, over
I
the
have my
small
sharp
port,
wit.
the small port town where our heroes live. We move in through the mist and fog that has rolled in on this night. We see that children and goblins alike are going door to door with big bags and trick or treat. And goblins love candy, so they're making the best of this. And like I said, you can see this evening that the monsters are out. They love this night. Werewolves, whilst real looking to the mundanes, they're like questionable. Like, wow, that guy had a really good costume. That sort of thing. That is part of our reality for this. Spirits, spooks, ghosts. Generally, everybody's on good terms because they get to wander about. What are our heroes doing this night? Lilith.
Let's see. Lilith is in her office, as she often is. I want to say with Beltane in front of her, and she's just like looking at him, like wrapping her nails on like the desk, and she's like, "So if you've avoided us long enough, what is this new look of yours? Why do you? It's not because it's All Hallows Eve. I know this."
Something may have happened after Louisiana.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what.
Why do you always look human, even to me?
Yeah, so they aren't supposed to have humanity in any regard.
Mm-hmm.
Thus the new look. I think it's quite dashing. I need to go light candles. As I turn around.
Don't. No, I'm gonna close the doors with my shadow powers.
And
That's unfair.
so the shadows creep from the corners like liquid spiders and slam the doors before you, Beltane. Now, we all know you could teleport away or tear the doors asunder, but what do you do?
I'll stop. Put my hands up. You know I can't. No, turn around. That's unfair. I may be experiencing bad case of humanity.
You may be experiencing a bad case of humanity.
Yep. That's the best way to put it.
Lilith's gonna stand up, walk in front of him, walk around him, smoke as she smokes her cigarette, kind of blows it in like his direction. And how did this happen? Specifically in Louisiana, how did you get a spark of humanity at a vampire ball, if I may ask?
I have some theories, but I need to test these theories, and I would rather not put somebody under the bus, so to say.
Somebody. Well, there's only two options.
Yep.
And Hazel was with me most of the night.
We can't jump to conclusions. We met a couple people between Louisiana and here. A very powerful voodoo goddess.
Did she give you a spark of humanity, Beltane?
I don't know. That's the thing.
Interesting.
I don't think she would alter her face form without permission. I mean, she knows magical law a lot.
Lilith is still walking around him slowly. So who's left, my dear Fae? Or maybe not.
Clever Jack's left. I mean, he's downstairs handing out candy to goblins, and told him peanut butter would be better.
Avoiding my question?
Very much.
Tell me, Beltane, who's left to blame for this?
I really should go light those candles, and I puff out of existence.
I'll get him later. Now, I can keep this going for like so long.
Do you have things to attend to, though, that may change your plan?
I have to make sure that my house is safe from a vampire lord.
Okay.
And I need to count my pieces. So, Hazel?
You do know also that it's usually a night of peace amongst said spooks, goblins, and whatnot, because everyone can get out and about. That it's bad form to mess with each other.
Yes, that's what bothers me.
Because I was gonna say, if you call out for Hazel, there is a hard camera cut to your voice still ringing out, but Hazel's skipping down the street wearing like a witch outfit. She has the big hat, like it's very clearly inspired from like classic witches. But as she's going, if it would be possible, I want her to be slightly experimenting with her energy vampire powers, because there are a lot of jack-o'-lanterns out that have active candles in them. So if like while she can be skipping, just like taking the energy from these lit candles as she goes.
You know that you have to draw life force.
Balls.
So you could make the candles flicker with telekinesis by reverberating air pressure, or maybe something like that.
All right.
If you'd like.
Draw life force from the little children.
You could try. You could try. I'm just saying.
Goblins start dropping.
No, but if there are any like parties going on where people are like spilling out onto the streets because they're acting wild, I need people ready for cute as a button. I don't know what's going to be happening this evening.
All right, and you have purposefully left the mansion.
Oh yeah,
you are wandering the streets of.
It's a safe day.
All right,
just go skipping.
Okay. All right. So, whilst out and about, indeed a band of merchant marines comes rolling out of a bar, and they've got a couple more floozy types with them, and they have a couple bottles of hooch and are totally flaunting the prohibition, which is still in effect. What do you do?
They look so dangerous. Is there any of them that doesn't have a floozy with them?
Yeah, like half of them.
I'm gonna just like stand like towards an alleyway and just yoo-hoo.
Okay. All right.
Lift up the skirt a little bit to show us that ankle.
Give me,
She's totally got like fishnets on underneath. Just hey.
So give me a charm roll then.
I'm good at these.
Or good
okay.
madam.
And because I forgot how these work last time, let's roll both the d12, add the number, right?
D6s.
D6s.
Two D6s.
Yes, add both the d6s.
Yep, add them together plus your charm stat.
I got a 12.
Oh, okay.
You.
That's
Oh, boys.
hey. Yeah, so these merchant marines are like, whoa, hey, hun, we're partying. Come join us. We're moving on to the next place. Plenty where this came from.
She'll shrug and join. Why not?
Okay. All
Just
right.
gotta follow him. Gotta isolate the weakest buffalo.
All right. You have inserted yourself into the herd. Are you going to try to like low level drain anyone as you're going along?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna be
wanna
holding
try it?
hands. I'm gonna be holding hands with so many people.
Okay. All right. And things get as flirty as you let it. So, I mean, these are merchant marines who have been at sea for a while, so they will be handsy and pawsy and smoochy if you let them.
I'll be handsy up to a point, but Hazel respects herself a little bit too much to let her food play with her.
Okay. So go ahead and go ahead and give me so what is your stat on the energy vampire? How does it work?
It just says energy vampire powers, and then it says nothing else.
Okay.
It could go be based off the I don't drink wine.
Yes, correct. Yeah. That was what my thinking was.
Okay.
So you can regain HP, and you can spend 3 HP points to add a dice roll. And you mine says I roll a d4 to see how much HP and damage is dealt. So however much
Okay.
HP I regain is how much damage I dealt, but that's because I have
Right.
fangs.
Yes. So what we're gonna say is because they're dull, they're dulled their senses because of the alcohol and whatnot. You can gain multiple points from different people as long as you take it really easy. But I need I guess I need a moxie check for you to keep it in check.
Oh, that's a 7.
Oh, okay. So you succeed, but there's consequences.
Are we using luck to re-roll?
Correct.
I
Yeah.
want to re-roll, but then I'm
Okay.
stuck with the new number, right?
Okay. Yep. But you're stuck
Awesome.
with the new number, and -1 luck.
Same number.
All right.
7
Okay.
is the most common number rolled between 2 dice,
Yes,
so
exactly. So hence it keeps the story moving and interesting. As you're going along and being kind of handsy and a little bit smoochy, the someone kind of gets like after they give you a smooch, they stumble. They look like they're gonna like fall down and pass out, and everyone laughs, and you can't hold your booze, and stands him back up, and he looks at you and he's a little scared. He's kind of aware that something isn't right with you, so he's gonna kind of watching you, keep an eye on you at this point. But you're moving along to the next oh my god, I almost said brothel. Next
Pub, tavern,
yeah,
bar,
speakeasy.
speakeasy.
Rue, what are you doing on this evening?
I have a question.
Sure.
What is the phase of the moon?
Oh, we gotta make it full. I
Of
mean,
course.
of course.
All right. So Rue is in a abandoned warehouse. She is wearing a blood-stained apron that says "Kiss the Cook." And she is in the middle of slaughtering a chicken to try and attract a werewolf.
Okay. All right. So give me a brains roll.
What else could she be doing?
Yeah,
It's
that's
a
awesome.
Halloween night.
Exactly.
Oh boy. I cannot play a smart character, evidently. This isn't the way things are done. 4.
Oh, mark experience.
Wait, how much experience do you need to level up?
That many.
I think it was like 6 or something.
5 XP.
5. You need 5.
Oops. I started today with 5.
Okay. Are you sure we didn't
level up anything? I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure I've had occultism for a good long time.
Okay.
And that's the last thing I have written down. We can
All right, well,
we can come up with something later.
Figure it out during the break.
Exactly.
Or as if something comes up and you want a new power, just shout it out and we'll work on it. Okay. So,
All right.
Rue, you failed. You are not drawing forth a werewolf, but you hear a whisper off in the shadows. I know where it is. We can help you find it.
I already told you I don't want any help from you.
That's, it's lost, but it can be found.
I'm gonna throw a chicken head.
Off into the darkness.
Yes.
All right. So I guess give me a moxie roll.
Okay. All right. Okay. 13.
13 on moxie. All right.
Oh, it's
So-
12 actually. Sorry, it's 12.
Okay.
Math.
Hey, you were an art major like me, math. So the voices say, "You'll be sorry," and then they fade away. Okay. Quick clip away. Camera snaps out. Hazel, Rue, Lilith, what were you doing?
I want to get ready for anything. So to me, anything's vampire related because vampires are after us.
Okay.
So I want to make sure I have a stake on me. She's gonna have a garter belt with a stake on it, like a wooden
Nice.
stake. Yeah.
Okay.
Probably like 3 per thigh.
Okay. All right. Very Black Widow
Yeah.
kind of.
And she's actually going. You tell me if I can do this.
Okay.
Because we had said in our chat a long time ago, that Lilith owns a cafe which doubles as a speakeasy, like underground.
Yep.
She's going to where she does her like shady business.
Mm-hmm.
She's going to go to her speakeasy, which is called Diabolique.
Yep.
And try to get information about this possibly coming vampire war,
Okay.
and anything about that weird book that we used to have in our possession.
All right. And you know that your speakeasy has kind of become a haunt for the supernatural because they feel easy there. I guess give me a charm roll once you're there. And now I have to ask, do you take Beltane or any of the boys with you?
I'm taking Beltane and a couple of the orcs that we have. There are I don't have names for them at the moment. But they're female orcs actually.
Okay. All right. Are they dressed to the nine, suits?
Oh yeah. What do you think
I just asking. I want a visual for those of us who are out there who
It's
who don't
Lilith
see
in
the
the
cats.
it's Lilith in the middle, dressed, and she's very Jessica Rabbit, but instead of red, it's all black with
Nice.
that like slit, and then she has like a fur shawl, also black, and she doesn't have her sunglasses because she's like, it's Halloween, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's Beltane. I'm assuming he's dressed to the nines as well. To her,
He's actually
right?
looks like a granddad. He has a sweater vest on, white shirt on.
Oh no, she's like,
And
you're not going out with me like that.
I just wanted to deliver these pumpkins. It's a night of peace. The
That's
one
so-
night of peace I get a year.
Do I not give you vacation days?
I get killed or nearly murdered on my vacation days. You know,
That depends on where you go for your vacation then, Beltane. Don't complain
last
to
time
me.
Louisiana, and vampires tried to kill me.
Yeah, well, we knew that was a possibility. Anyway, go put on a suit. No one's gonna take you seriously.
I'm a human. Nobody takes me seriously as it is.
You're not human. Stop saying that.
I look like one. I go put on a suit.
All right. And then
And
you
then my orcs are dressed also in like pinstripe suits, and they got like their hidden like guns and shit.
okay. Even though and it won't really matter, but due to the fact we're using a pseudo reality AU, even though they're women, they're dressed in pinstripe suits.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
You can't run in dresses, man. I mean, I can because I'm a vampire, but
I just had to ask. So okay.
Totally a
And
supernatural
I love
feat.
me some ladies in suits, man.
Mhm.
Some orc ladies in suits. Come on.
Yeah, and so you're
I
taking
just don't think it's realistic.
it breaks the immersion for me. So you're taking the hearse, right? And
Oh yeah, it's
and
spooky.
and it's
Getting spooky
awesome, and
tonight.
you're getting all kinds of turned heads and looking. You get to the club. What squirrel nut zipper-esque type song or whatever, what is playing that you you know
It's actually I have a song. If anybody wants to check it out, it's called Demon Kitty Rag. It's really, really good. That's what's playing.
Alright.
I love it. It's really good.
Okay.
And it's kind of like an alleyway because it's like behind the cafe, and there's a red, like it's a couple stairs that lead down, and then a red door, like a
Right.
blood red door. And
Sure.
like when you go inside, it's like this kind of like there's ambience, there's lights, there's a little bit of like smoke because people are smoking inside because it's the 20s.
The shadows announce your presence, and you don't even, I mean, the door just opens for you and your entourage.
course.
There
It's
is
my
no
club.
stopping and knocking. And as you enter, the music seems to rise first and then dampen, and as you come through the what are they called? They point upwards. The lights that point upwards along the walls.
Braziers?
No, they're actually there's a
Scones?
name. There is a non-medieval name for them from the 20s that was like Tommy lights or Johnson lights or something like that. But they're the lights that point upwards instead of down to give different more glow to the area. And as you come through, your shadows play up and dampen over them, and then sort of make it so that the light is on you, and then dark behind, and on you and dark behind, so that your entourage is muted, but you are in spotlight. And the all heads turn. They, of course, the band, like I said, dampens their sound to let you make your entrance. You stop at the foyer, and
I smile and I give a little wave and I make my way. It's like walking a red carpet. Like I make my way through like the club, and I like wink at the band and at the bartender and like smile, and then I make my way slowly as I watch everybody watching me because I'm Lilith Malahue, of course. This is my fucking club.
And
And Yeah,
what
go
is
ahead.
what is the cue for the band to start back up?
They start back up as I wink at them.
Okay.
Just a little,
Right.
a little,
And with verve, the band begins again, and the whole club kind of, the level rises up as the very dim lighting was really muted, comes back to its normality, its normal dark corners, because I'm sure you would not keep your shadows from doing what they love.
Oh, of course
So
not.
so give me a charm roll to get the
I'm good at
information you're
those.
looking for.
I'm good at those.
Are you using powers, or are you just using your natural charm?
I'm just using my natural charm because
Alright.
people should give me information in my club.
Trip over each other to do so. Yes.
Exactly. Ooh, okay. Yes. Yes. Okay, that's 8 plus 3, which is 11? I know math. Yeah, 11.
Sounds right. Okay. So
I'm an art major.
another one. So the information you were seeking is information about the upcoming war.
Yes.
What you find is that so far no one has been brave enough or been able to get enough power base together to make a push this far north. So you're feeling pretty safe in the season with this information. But again, your 100+ years of paranoia have indeed been ingrained in your psyche. Can you relax a bit, or?
Oh no. Liv looks at Belting's like, this lets me know that most of them are either stupid or weak. But actually not stupid because they don't want to rise up against me, and that's smart. So, but
Well, remember the
stupid
lesson about me. I fell from grace by a very underpowered fae.
We'll get to that eventually, darling. But there's always the one stupid person that pops up their head. And I'll be ready when they do.
Hazel.
Yeah. I'm gonna go place this. I take the pumpkin I carried in and go back upstairs.
And what are you doing with that pumpkin?
Well, because it's a jack-o'-lantern now, I've set it to the side of the door, lit the candle, and let the ward take over, because pumpkins are magical, especially when they're like this.
All right. And what are you warding against?
Just ill omens. It's a tradition that Beltane doesn't fully understand, because ill omens are part of life, and this was a very human custom, so he just likes it because it's funny. And he thinks it's pretty cute, carving a pumpkin.
Silly humans.
All right.
He looks at himself, oh yeah.
Later on, you will find that one of the orcs comes to you and says, he's like, a few of the people couldn't get in tonight because of your pumpkin. I don't know what it's all about, but they couldn't get through the door. It was almost like, vampires, and you had to be invited. I tried inviting them, but they couldn't get past the pumpkin.
It's funny that the one human custom they come up with works. Yeah, it's fine. Just leave it there. We don't want those people in here tonight anyways. This is a time of peace, my friend.
So I just tell them, come back tomorrow? Yeah,
come back tomorrow.
All right.
No, not tomorrow. The next day, the 2nd, the November 2nd.
November 2nd, gotcha.
Yep.
And it lumps back to the thing. What is, Lilith, what is the strangest monster who has decided to come out this evening?
Oh.
I should have warned you guys. Improv.
Ooh, okay, let's say a shit.
Yes, a big shit golem has come out.
No.
All right.
This isn't dogma.
Golgotha.
How about a slime creature?
Okay.
Kind of like if a gelatinous cube was a person
Okay.
with things inside them.
Okay. You had me at gelatinous. All right. So this gelatinous being is sitting in a corner booth, and they have several pools slash bubbles of alcohol floating within their ectoplasmic origin. Hazel, you're not here, correct?
I don't think I'm at this bar unless the sailors that I was with went to that bar.
Ooh, probably not. This is kind of a down low speakeasy, more of a monster type club.
Yeah.
So,
there's a reason. Yeah.
I know what I could have done though. It's taken a boy who looked like he might, decide to defect for all intents and purposes, and then lead them back to Lilith's speakeasy.
Okay.
Just be like, I made an offering.
Okay. So you
I'll find the best Joe I can.
But you're looking for someone who of ill repute?
No,
or
just
okay.
The weakest buffalo is
the weakest buffalo in this herd.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and say that happens. What's this sacrifice's name?
His name will be Cav.
Cav. All right.
Cav.
Yeah.
Cav. All right. Well, Cav comes back with you, and you indeed enter the club, and you have Cav with you. Lilith, you see Hazel in a full-on witch costume with a drunken merchant marine.
What costume is Cav wearing?
Cav is in his merchant marine attire.
He has kitty whiskers on.
Yeah.
It doesn't change like the whole dynamic, but he has the whiskers.
That Hazel drew on there with mascara.
Yes. His nose is black.
Yeah.
So Cav is your familiar this evening. Other than, and is Jambalaya with you?
Oh, for sure.
And
I would like to
Jambalaya?
picture that Hazel's little like purse is now like a little like has like water in it, like specifically made to hold water to like put jambalaya in.
Oh yeah.
And it just kicks out like a little dog.
He's in my witch's handbag. I'm calling it my components pouch for tonight.
All right. For the evening.
For the eve.
And as you walk in, please give me a fortitude save or a roll. Sorry.
Oh boy. Oof. Oofy owie, the bone hurting juice. That's a 4.
What'd you get?
A 4.
4. Mark experience. So as you walk in, you are very aware of this gelatinous being. I mean, like vampire senses, like you don't even have to look. You know that there is some primordial life force there, and Jambalaya is kind of shaky and quaky in the handbag.
That's riveting.
Yep, and he's kind of hopping against the side of the bag.
It's okay, Jambalaya. close it. Sorry, he gets like this sometimes.
And the dude is like, yeah, you know, in his head, if you weren't cute. He doesn't say it out loud. There's a button. Okay, so what do you do?
But I'm able to enter this place.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And like I said, but this being, this ectoplasmic primordial being, is definitely, you can feel some kind of connection or draw in it.
I'm gonna ask Cav to go get us some drinks.
Okay.
And while he goes and does that, I'm gonna go and see about talking to this primordial goo.
All right.
Do I see this?
Yes. But Cav is headed up to the bar, and bleary-eyed, tipsy, like, is checking you out, whilst heading, you know, like lilting a little and heading, trying to walk towards you, but not quite making it there.
Lilith sees it and she's like, darling, I'm so out of your league. We're not even playing the same sport.
Okay, I got nothing for that.
Sports have leagues?
Two.
I'll just put 2 whiskeys down.
Okay. Thanks. And he fumbles in his pocket and puts some money up there, which is stupidly way more than is for a couple of whiskeys. And turns around, and he is bleary-eyed looking for Hazel. Hazel, you've crossed over, and as you get close to the ectoplasm being, it almost divides in half. It's sitting there, and as you approach, it's moving out like this, and it starts to get thin against the wall, and then you see what's probably its eyes, which are these 2 like cornflower blue oh my no
It's not like martini olives that are floating.
no it's actually like they look like giant cells.
Oh, great.
They have like nebulous phalanges coming off of them, and they kind of are maybe looking at you.
Can I be keeping my eye on her?
Yeah.
Like from the bar, like
Mm-hmm.
it's like
Now, I would like you to give me a brains roll to be, unless you're like leering, to act nonchalant but yet keep an eye on them.
Oh, was that for me or for...
No, for Lilith.
I should have brought my sunglasses. I was stupid.
Mm-hmm.
A brains?
Yep.
No.
Another
3.
fail? Oh my goodness. Okay. All right.
That's my first fail. I'm not gonna reroll that. I'm gonna take that fail so I can get experience.
Okay. Take the XP. Everyone notices what you're looking at. And so all conversation is about, and the bar is slowly but surely being like, oh, it's Lilith looking at. Oh my gosh, she's watching her ward, her, you know, Hazel. Hazel's a vampire? Yeah.
If I hear these, I'm gonna like pointedly move to look at them.
Mm.
Whoever's speaking, and it's not a pleasant look.
Okay. All right. Yeah, it starts to dampen down, but the feeling in the place is such now that all eyes, all attention, even if they're not looking, they're still paying attention.
Yeah.
What's going to happen over here? Hazel, what do you do with this?
Go back to look at Hazel.
Stretched out being who's kind of now
He's at a booth?
Yes.
Or they're at a booth? I can't really assume because they're made of goo.
Correct. And they're with 2 humans.
Are the humans sitting on the opposite side of the booth?
Yes. So the gelatinous being is in one side and was taking up most of the booth, but has now, like I said, they've oozed out, so they're almost flat against the wall, and they got a big lump here and a big lump under the table.
I'll look at the two humans and I'll say, boys, if you don't mind, I think I'll take this one.
And give me a brains roll.
That's a total of 7. I'm gonna use a luck point.
Okay.
On a 7 again.
Oh yeah, that's a 9, my friend.
There you go.
All right. There's something not right about these guys. They stare you down and are like, okay, but like cold, like something's up, and
That's
then
fine.
they walk away. But you can tell they are either very, very used to creatures of your type, or something ain't right about these boys. But they leave you with the ectoplasm being.
And I'll take off my hat and set it down to the side, and I'll put both my hands up and kind of close my eyes and say, so are you gonna order for me, or do I have to do everything around here?
Now, do you have big hairpins that were keeping the hat in place, or was it just on your head?
I would say it was just pleasantly on my head. There was no hairpins holding it. It was just delightfully there, possibly via telekinesis as a very light force.
All right. And you see that a pseudopod comes out and waves at the bar, and a servant quickly appears, and they're like, Miss Hazel, can what you what
I can
you
only have
drink?
one thing to drink, dear. It's not a hard order.
Indeed. And another for you? Of course, says the ectoplasm being. And so the server goes away. And as you sat in the booth, the lump that was under the table came in and filled out the seat, and the top part moved back over and waved kind of back. So it's really big, but not very thick on the top.
Why did I pick gelatinous cube?
So that I could improv this silliness. And so, what are you doing there?
I was on a date, but now I'm bored with that. So what are you doing here?
I believe we have a mutual acquaintance.
Who's that, Miss L?
No, I don't often deal with vampires.
Well, who then? Is it Jambalaya? Has he been talking smack again?
And Jambalaya hops in your bag, and I guess this being will say, at the base of everything is life, and in a way, yes.
I'm gonna be real fast with you. The only time I've ever seen anything like you before, I was busy swapping consciousness with it, and then when I woke up, I was like me. So, do you know what I was previously? Or are you something different here on the whimsy of a friend?
I'm of my own accord here now, but yes, the power that touched you is responsible for me.
And she puts both her hands up and kind of tucks them underneath her chin and says, so does that mean we were like siblings or something?
It's just jiggling.
Yeah. And you notice the way it's speaking is it has a huge opening that is, and it's like bagpiping these noises. It has some kind of almost like an open stomach sort of deal, and it's bagpiping these sounds to out, and so it says, yes, we are related, sort of.
Well, good. That means that if you want, you can have the snack I brought. I'm feeling rather peckish right now.
I leave quite a mess when I eat one of them.
She shrugs and says, suit yourself.
And simple sugar should suffice to feed me for most of my needs. If you will excuse me, I have not often the ability to get out. And it sort of starts to slime off the edge of the seat, and as it gets close to the edge, like part of it goes to the floor, and then it starts to wave itself away. Now we whip around as human beings in the club, and we see someone in a ghost costume. Even with the veil down, this thing is so insane that we as humans can't turn it into any
Can't
other
perceive it.
yeah, as anything but someone like in a billowy sheet walking around. But it appears to be leaving.
Before you go, what's your name?
Often called Bob.
All right, Bob. Maybe I'll see you soon sometime. She winks at the ooze.
All right, and the one eyeball does a little wiggle thing that you assume is a wink back, and it leaves. I'm gonna call for it. Both you and Lilith give me a brains roll. Oh, and Beltane's there. Beltane, you may also give me a brains roll.
All
Oh,
right.
yeah. Am I smart? Yeah.
A 6.
Okay, a failure. All right,
10.
mark experience.
9.
All right, Hazel, you do not notice this at all. Your drunkard comes back at this point, and it nearly spills the entire both whiskeys, putting them on the table, and sitting down across from you, and then he like blinks and he's like, and he gets up and he sits next to you so that you're scooched in to the booth, and then slides the drinks over, like one in front of you, one in front of him. Lilith, you notice that as Bob leaves, those two humans leave shortly behind. Beltane, you also notice it, but you're also distracted by, either this drunkard pinning Hazel in a booth or something else in the vicinity. Your slightly dulled face senses have left you not as sharp as you once were.
Can I send like someone to follow them quietly? Like tag them?
Yes. So do you send one of your orcs?
Oh no, too not inconspicuous enough.
Grab a goblin?
Yeah.
All right.
A goblin.
All right. You grab Zeppy. Zeppy, one of the wait goblins, and they're like, "Gotcha, Lilith. I'll be right on it." And they go hustling down, and then when they get close, they draw themselves up short and like kind of do a half creep sort of thing. And again, people see them as like a kid dressed as Frankenstein. or some kind of creature from the Black Lagoon type monster. Just enough to like, wow, that's a really good costume, sort of thing. Meanwhile, Rue, you failed miserably to attract a werewolf. Correct? You failed? That was a
Yeah.
failure?
Oh
Okay.
yeah, for sure.
So as you're standing in the warehouse and the spirits were speaking to you, and you lop the head of the chicken, you notice that you don't notice, we as the audience notice that you turned a circle, and the chicken's blood is now around you.
Oh, that's good.
And again, we noticed that, you didn't notice that. And as you go to turn, you, from the darkness, there seems to be a person, a being, something there just outside the circle of blood. And what color is their skin?
Does this seem to be a fiendish origin, or?
You don't know yet.
All right. I'm going to say turquoise.
All right.
Like almost green, almost blue.
All right. So the turquoise being is not there. It's just like for a second. And you turn another direction. What do you do? I mean, you thought for sure there was someone standing there. When you turned, there was a person there.
Yeah. I think that Rue reaches into her shirt pocket and pulls out a gun and just kind of starts looking around.
All right. Yeah, give me a brains roll.
I'm very good at those. 9.
All right. That means that you succeed. So in the darkness, a ways back, these eyes flicker open, and they have like a white light to them, and a rather melodic voice says to you, these are things you shouldn't mess with, you know. And then the eyes close, and it's just shadow again.
Who's there?
From a different direction, you think maybe a tail or a leg, something moves through the shadow, and you hear, a friend.
There's a lot of things that claim to be my friends. You got any proof?
What was your husband's name?
Harry or Red. Either will work.
Well, I know Red. He worries about you.
Nobody knows Red nowadays.
I do. And as the voice is appearing in different places, and it'll say again, where I'm from is where Red dwells now.
Listen, if you're trying to make me like you, this may not be the best avenue, Buster Brown.
And you see the white light of the eyes open, and they start stepping out of the darkness. They stay open, they stay looking at you, and as they're stepping out of the darkness, this turquoise skinned woman with like stark white hair, it comes down and then ends in a couple of braids, and her skin seems to have these runes or pictograms or something on them. All but her face is the pictograms are, along the jawline and along the forehead, but the face itself is just pure turquoise. And they start stepping towards you, and you notice they have wings.
Interesting. Like feathered wings.
Like feathered wings.
All right.
And they are as stark white as their hair, as her hair. And do you have any questions for Red?
Who killed him?
Give me a charm roll.
This is a trick question.
Mm-hmm.
I killed Red.
I know.
You said a charm roll?
Yes.
7.
All right. And they kind of laugh, and they're like, killed by a loved one. Sad, really sad. It was a good thing at heart. They were a good person, or they might not have ended up there. They might have ended up, they look down there.
Okay, so maybe you know a little bit about what you're talking about. Who turned him?
And you notice that they're never stepping beyond the circle of blood.
Oh, very good. Excellent.
So, who turned them? Do we know canon-wise who turned
Nope.
Red?
No
Okay.
clue. It was a werewolf.
A werewolf. Okay. Who? Red doesn't know. I'm sorry.
All right. Well, who are you?
I'm a guardian. I'm here to try to keep you from the thing that you want. The thing that has some power over you and has given you power.
Nobody really knows what I want, not even me.
And they chuckle. They actually chuckle at that, and they let me see where we're at on time. Okay, good. Well, if you find it and it comes back to you, you could always let me know that you have it, and I could come and take it away for you.
No promises. Ever.
That's fine. And they reach over their shoulder, and they kind of pluck and shake their wing, and they pull a feather out, and they're like, use this, write a message, any message, and lay it in the midday sun, and I'll get the message. And they go to hand you the feather, and then they stop outside the blood circle, and they lay the feather on the ground, and they're like, and really watch what you're doing, and they make a motion like the circle, and they start to step back, and their eyes close, and when their eyes close, your eyes close, and then they're gone.
Rue's gonna reach over carefully and snatch up that feather.
Okay. It brings you a moment of joy. like little kid Christmas joy for just a second when you grab hold of the feather. Does Rue still have any fae in her? I can't remember if you did take the deal to get rid of your.
I think you did.
I think I did.
Okay, all right.
No
So
more hint of fae.
no more hint of fae, but
Sailor
that this feather then, because you don't have a hint of fae, brings you that Christmas joy and a smidge of belief that okay,
There's
this will work.
There is like a moment where you know how like in Miyazaki films where characters' hair will start to like raise a little bit.
Mhm.
You know, she goes, "Oh God, oh, oh, that was awful."
And as you say that, you look down, and the blood circle starts to boil, and it boils away and becomes blackened, like it dries completely, like it was boiled away black, and then it just kind of flakes apart and just is it kind of blows away with no wind. It's sort of like the flakes sort of, like they're being blown away, but then they just vanish.
Huh. She's gonna take that feather and she's gonna tuck it where she puts all of her other business cards.
All right. At that point, how close are we? We still got a couple minutes. As the evening winds down, Hazel, do you partake of your snack?
I've been partaking this entire evening.
Okay. I'm gonna let you roll the D4 and we're gonna overpower you, or what is it that Caleb always does? Is that
Overcharge.
Overcharge. We're gonna let you overcharge your energy bank for the evening. So
Sweet.
by a D4.
I got a 4.
Okay. Write those down as extra hit points. We'll treat them like temp hit points, for purposes of this evening. And Lilith, is there anything you do? It is your party and your night.
Do you cry if you want to?
Mm-hmm.
It is her party and her night, but she's paranoid because you don't get to be over 100 without being paranoid. Beltane, do you know where a dear darling detective is? I can just feel that she's doing something stupid.
No, I was just going to go deliver these pumpkins to her door because they're protection, and I think that's what people do about other people they care
You care about the detective that much?
No, maybe. I don't know. It's confusing. A lot of things are confusing.
Even though she did that, she like points with her cigarette.
I have a lot of complex feelings about what she did in Louisiana to me and our people, but forgiveness is something my goddess has instilled in my tenants. It's a slow process, and I don't forgive her yet, but it's a process.
A fae who forgives, now that's rare.
4,000 years of a grudge isn't really my thing.
Yeah.
Might be my brother's, but this is his night.
Lilith will like kind of like laugh, but like for a second she'll like her face will drop a little bit and she'll look at Beltane and she's like, "We'll fix this, I promise."
I hope so.
Have I not always kept my promises to you?
You have. I would like to see Ash again. It's been a long time.
You will again, I promise.
Lilith, what is your plan for the midnight hour?
Oh God, I don't fucking know, GB.
All right.
My
Does anyone have an idea of what you may?
Beltane's gonna leave the pub bar speakeasy thing.
Okay.
Go over to the detective's office and arrange a few pumpkins and a turnip. He's quite like this silly concept from the UK Isles that the turnip would ward away evil as well. So he's made one and set it down.
my plan is to, even though the detective is the detective, get all my ducks in a row. I can just feel something's going to happen. And so before Beltane leaves, she'll let him know that if he does see her, to bring her back if possible.
Okay.
Detective's never seen me as a human, so it might be easier.
Very true.
She hates me.
Then you care about her.
Yeah.
So, Beltane, you take off in Puck, the now hearse, and you are placing pumpkins at Rue Harker's doorstep when
I should have sent an orc with you.
I've carved one pumpkin into the shape of her favorite flower. One looks like a cat that represents porcupine, and the turnip kind of just in the middle of the doorway, just because I could. It's a turnip.
So as you're placing said pumpkins, Rue, you come around the corner, and a momentary shock, like, oh, crap. And then you realize it's Beltane who's putting pumpkins in front of your doorstep.
Do I recognize Beltane? Because this is the first time I've seen him in his fully human form.
Yeah, he has dark hair, full beard, kind of mustache, brown eyes, soft brown skin, has an overcoat, has a hat on. He's just arranging pumpkins, not satisfied, just kind of turning them. We don't want them there.
Go ahead and give me a brains roll.
Be stupid. It's funner.
6.
All right. Mark experience. Some well-dressed hobo is putting pumpkins in front of your door.
Hey, no soliciting.
What? I stand back up with the turnip in my hand.
Listen, aren't you a little old to be trick-or-treating?
4,000 years old, but no.
Recognize this voice?
Harker kind of looks at him, kind of like rubs her eyes.
Looks like a human.
Yeah. Oh, okay. He's crazy. That's fine.
Just kind of set the pumpkin on the turnip on the stool, the step.
Listen, buddy, are you in trouble or anything? What do you need?
I just wanted to put pumpkins on your doorstep.
Harker looks down at the pumpkins. Okay, that's weird. What do I know about pumpkins?
Well, you do know that people usually further out in the country carve them and put them on their doorsteps around Halloween to kind of say, hey kids, come get candy. That's probably what you know about them, unless you want to give me a know thy enemy roll.
She's working under the assumption that he's human, so I don't think she would.
All right. Okay. Yep. So that's what you know, is that pumpkins mean come get candy.
Huh. Listen, buddy, do you need a ride to the, a ride somewhere or something? I don't have a car. I could call you a taxi.
I'll just point to Puck. No.
So when they point over to Puck, you know Puck.
Yeah.
So.
Oh my God. Oh, Belle's gonna be so mad when he found out his car's been stolen.
Yes. Do you want to go for a joyride to make him really mad?
What? No.
Tonight's a night of peace. He can't do anything.
You're weird. And she's gonna like go and open up her door.
Okay.
Lilith wants you at the nightclub.
What does Lilith want?
Make sure you're safe.
I thought
guess.
Faye couldn't lie.
You know, there's benefits of being human.
Well, it's pretty clear that I'm fine.
Mm-hmm. Are you going to piss off the best vampire I've ever known?
Yes.
Beltane, give me a charm roll.
I do that daily.
A 9.
All right. So Rue, you're pretty convinced you should probably go, and you're like, oh, it probably has something to do with my sister. So you're pretty sure that's something you should do.
Interesting. All right.
Beltane's stolen car. You see him kind of roll his eyes as he goes to the car and opens the door for you.
And I think the other part of that, because you got a 9 instead of a 10, I think is you start to suspect this is Beltane. Don't know how.
I'll see how far I can carry this.
And with that, why don't we take our break?
Yeah,
I think it's
I
time.
need to pee.
Yes. So we are going to go on a 5 to 10 minute break. So don't go no place unless it is to grab a food, grab a drink, grab a friend, or possibly go to bit.ly/adventure merch. Pick yourself up something nice, or maybe leave us a review. Let us know how you enjoy GB's 1 a.m. tabletop RPG that is Noire themed. But we shall return shortly, so don't go no place. All right, everybody. Bye-bye! Hello, everybody. We have returned to the newest indoor adventure in Looming 20s. So, we are approaching the midnight hour. Lilith is getting everybody together, and I'm terrified. Let's do it.
So, you've Beltane has brought Rue back. Hazel, you've all but depleted your snack of life. Are you going to end this individual's life?
No.
All right. Just
Catch and release.
all right. And Lilith, you were being extra paranoid. So it's quickly approaching the midnight hour, the time where the piece is ends, basically, because All Saints Day begins. And I guess, are you going to stay here? Are you headed for the mansion? What is your plan?
Let's head to the mansion. We're more prepared there.
All right. So Beltane, give me a agility roll.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you have driving as a specific.
Oh, I do.
Okay, then go ahead and add your driving skill if it has a mod or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Just keep that number in. Okay, that's good. Lots of numbers. 6 6 5 is
9. No, 11.
11 plus 3 is
14.
14. Yeah.
All right.
I can maths.
You're
Team effort.
as you're headed to the mansion, you get on one of the more windy roads there, and something flies in front of the vehicle, but you definitely swerve around it, and then a moment later something else zips in front of the vehicle. Who's sitting up front with you?
It's me.
All right. Rue, give us a brains roll.
Oh, you hear from the
So
back?
many.
It's like, what the hell's going on?
Banshees, maybe?
Holy butts.
Great, it's exactly what we needed.
They're
13.
peaceful.
13.
Yeah.
Um.
That there's 2 6s, bro.
All right. All right. You realize
Ooh,
that
she's smart.
the things that have flown out in front of you are. What's a bird you don't like?
Seagulls.
Okay.
They're rats with wings.
You swear.
Universally hated bird.
You swear that,
They're evil.
that
They
these
are.
seagulls are out at night flying in front of the car.
What are seagulls doing out in the middle of the night?
Scabbing for chips.
They're trick-or-treating.
So
They're probably harassing all sorts of kids for their candy.
Oh, getting
You've
beat.
you've noticed that the fog has thickened immensely. I mean, like this. I mean, our small port town quite often gets rolled over by fog, but this is probably the worst you've seen in ever. How long have you lived here, Lilith?
Oof, I would say, oh, it's the 20s. Probably, yeah, probably like 15, 10 years
Okay.
around that time.
Yeah, you've never seen fog like this.
I've never seen fog like this before.
Yeah, if another seagull just swoops down in front of you, go ahead and hit him.
Did you say seagulls?
I'm not hitting a bird with puck.
I said seagulls.
We're near a harbor of some sort. Seagulls honestly make sense.
We're in a winding road up into the mansion
At night.
at night.
I've seen seagulls in landlocked places. Those things get everywhere.
Beltane, do not drop your guard.
They're just birds, Mrs. L.
I'll lean
Sure.
over to Harker. Did you figure it out yet?
Hazel, what's a small animal you don't like?
A small animal that Hazel doesn't particularly like are moles. She
Oh,
just doesn't like it when the earth starts moving beneath her and then the little like snoot comes out. She just hates it.
Beltane,
Mhm.
go ahead and give me another agility roll.
Am I gonna hit a mole?
It's a giant mole. It's gonna flip
A
over our
mole?
car.
Driving or agility?
Driving. Sorry.
Okay. Okay. Cool. 7.
Okay. All right. You veer because a manhole-sized covered clod of dirt explodes up out of the dirt road, and some brown something or other burst forth with it, and you have to think it's some kind of fae or something, and you veer. You can either hit the creature or damage Puck, like scrape Puck against the side.
Oh no!
It's the truck or the mole.
It's not
Do we
midnight,
have
is it?
seatbelts?
No,
Let's
it's
say
the
it's
20s.
This is
let's say
20s.
it's like a star-nosed mole too. Like,
Oh,
like,
no, they're
that's
so cute.
protuberanced, like,
Oh, it's gonna be Puck because Beltane adheres to the laws of his people.
Okay. So you hear and feel the side rail scraping down you just makes your teeth rattle to feel the metal scraping on Puck. And
Beltane!
I know.
and Lilith and Hazel, you didn't see what what it
No,
was.
but I feel the scratch.
Yes, you definitely feel the scratch. Rue, you saw it.
Yeah.
What do you say? Or do? Or what? I mean,
Geez, I know that there are rats the size of cows in this town, but moles?
Oh, I hate moles!
Moles? Seagulls? Now moles. This is not normal. Whatever normal is in this town.
and we as the audience fade back and we see the hearse moving through the woods, the headlights, and from all around we see that the fog is pouring in towards the mansion on all sides.
And now we're in Barovia.
Our protagonists don't see it, but
There
we
can only
as
be
the
one
audience
vampire.
do. And
Sorry.
the gate of course opens and you guys pull in. Anyone who that they would notice something like this, go ahead and give me a brains roll.
Okay.
It's
Never
supposed
turned
to be
down an opportunity
spooky.
I'm like
roll
extra
dice.
paranoid, so I'm gonna say I notice. Ooh, that's like a.
No, Beltane wouldn't notice. His car's a mess.
That's a 10.
Okay, Hazel.
Oh, Hazel wouldn't have been paying attention.
Okay.
A mole.
Lilith.
Oh, I hate them.
I hate them. Lilith, you not only notice that the fog is rolling in, but it's starting to block out the moon. This is some high rolling fog. This is one of those fogs that comes in off the ocean sort of thing. But this fog is coming from every direction around.
Every direction. Are we in the gate?
Yes. You're actually pulled up to the house and getting from the garage to the homestead.
Is it coming into the house?
It
Like
appears,
through the gate, like into the courtyard and all that stuff.
Yeah, it's pouring over the wrought iron fence in all directions.
Okay, so Lilith's gonna have an annoyed face. She's like, Belton, get everyone ready. This is not normal. Hazel, stay on your guard. Detective, just don't do anything stupid and don't try to summon Satan again.
You're on her shit list, detective.
A permanent address.
It's and the fog is now rolling across the yard and heading for the place itself.
Oof. She's like storming into the house with everybody going inside. It's like, everybody get ready. Like just screaming at like bodyguards, people with arms, like spellcasters, anything.
All right.
Whatever she can find.
All right. Everybody's taking battle stations, as it were.
Wow.
And
She's just super paranoid. So she's like just screaming. She's like, everybody.
Hazel just rolls her eyes at all of this and it's just like, it's a peace day.
So
not at midnight, my love.
So you look, and out the windows, all you see is this fog. It's just white. You open the curtain, and it's just white.
If I look at the clock, what time is it?
Nearing midnight.
This peace day's about to end, my dear. Okay. Beltane, how much does this affect you? And she looks at the detective with like a really
Keeps on looking at me like that.
Yeah,
Off
there's
limits.
a lot of no,
I wouldn't
it's
stick
something
my
different.
teeth into you. You wouldn't be the last person.
Oh,
Ow.
it's a day of peace. I should be fine. Just a little weaker and probably will die if a bullet hits me. But hey.
Don't let a bullet hit you then.
Okay.
Don't get any mortal injuries on you.
Mm-hmm.
Boss! Goblin comes running down the hall.
Is it Zeppy?
It is not.
Okay.
It is another goblin. And
Yes.
this fog smoke's coming under the doors. Look.
Oh, fuck.
And you see literally fog rolling in under the door.
Sorry, I was looking at Ender's comment.
Moving down the hall.
Oh, how do I defend against fog?
And the goblin looks at you.
I'll go to a small altar I have and light a candle. Move my little straw doll out of the way and put in a little oak doll. I don't know, but we have until midnight to figure it out, my friends.
How many minutes till midnight is it?
Like 2.
We have 2 minutes, Beltane.
You see the two big orcs are like waving their coats at the fog as it's rolling in under the door. And it's just making the fog fill the foyer.
She's gonna scream. I went to just to stuff all the doors to the outside and like the windowsills that have any cracks or anything with like cloth or anything to like stop it from coming in.
Okay. They're all running around and trying to stuff drapes and towels and bed sheets and stuff in, and that's when you all are like, I think we got it. There seems to be a silence, a real quiet falls over the house. You're all like, okay, and you're not hearing anything from outside. You're only like maybe hearing like a little goblin cough here and there. And that's when from the chimney and the fireplaces rolls in everything. The swirl of fog is around. White, cannot see your hands in front of your faces. You begin to, become disoriented in this fog. What do you do?
I would like to use my watch this ability to dissipate the fog around me.
Sure. Make a roll.
That is an 11.
Nice. You dissipate the fog around you, causing like a sort of a squashed, a pumpkin sort of shape. So it's kind of like roundish, but kind of a little more flat on the top and bottom. And you make it go out, and it's kind of concentric. You're holding it with your mind, but it just seems to make everything else around you thicker and less more opaque. Everyone else can't see. Do you call everyone to you?
Yeah.
All right. What do you say?
I'll just say, try and get centered on the soothing sound of my voice.
Okay.
Lilith is gonna try to grab Beltane because I'm assuming he was next to her,
Okay.
and like go that way wherever her voice is.
Give me an agility roll to grab Beltane.
What's a 6?
Ooh, mark experience. So,
Beltane, I'm hoping you can take care of yourself, buddy.
everyone who is not Hazel, give me a brains roll.
Double, toil and trouble.
Ooh, okay. 6, 7, 8.
7.
Is it brains you said?
Yep.
9.
Okay. Rue, what is it that you misplace or drop or lose in the fog before you get to Hazel?
My gun.
Okay. Mark it down. you fumble with it in your pocket as you get disoriented, and you drop it, and then you start feeling the ground. And it's just not there. Beltane, what'd you get?
3.
Oh, Beltane.
Oh, my stupid Faye.
So lost in the fog. Lilith?
I got a 9.
Okay. Other than Beltane, what do you lose as you struggle to find your way back?
I had pulled out a wooden stake that I dropped in the fog.
Okay.
That could be used as a weapon against me.
Stabs directly into Beltane.
Ow! Oh.
I thought my Fae was a vampire, so I stuck it in the heart with a wooden stake. Guess what? They died. A vampire. Okay. So, Rue, you suddenly step into a clearing, and you see Hazel standing there with her hands out, and you see that the fog is like rolling around, kind of a pumpkin onion shape around her, and being held at bay. Lilith, you step in and you see Rue and you see Hazel holding the fog at bay, obviously with her special powers. Beltane, you have no idea where you are. You seem to be lost in the fog.
Beltane, darling, where are you?
Beltane, you cannot hear her.
Fuck.
I'll try and see if there's a wall or something beside me. Just run my hand along it.
All right.
If I can.
So you reach the wall, and what is a place that you remember fondly?
Oh, fondly. The Grecian Isles. It's where I met the first human I encountered. He was very much what I look like now.
Okay. As you're feeling along, you swear you're feeling a fresco, a Greek fresco from that island. And you're like, this can't be, but yet you feel it.
And I'll just turn towards it more fully and trace the outlines of it, and pleasantly confused, because this is one of my fondest memories, but knowing that the danger's still at my back, it's just like, huh.
As you move along, you come to what you think is the end of it, and it just seems to start again. Do you continue following it?
I'll keep following it, trying to remember what I had beyond this fresco. Remembering it was a bathhouse, that I was curious about it in my younger age. I've never met a human. What are they doing? Why are they something? Why are they doing that?
And as you wander along, the fog is the steam of the bathhouse. Suddenly, it is cleaner and less opaque, and now suddenly you can see you're starting to clear, and you see the baths before you, and you see the Grecians lounging and bathing and such in the pools. What do you do?
I'm just happy. This is a very happy moment, and I become a satyr, because that's what I think they like, because I've seen frescoes of them, and I kind of just wander in.
Okay. You take on this form, and you take a few clops forward with your cloven feet, and the humans smile at you, and sort of, join us in the bath. They don't say anything, but they sort
Join
of
us.
spread their hands out and welcome you in.
I'll pause at the edge of the water and kind of look at it, and it's not salt water, I don't think, as I reach out to touch it, trying to remember.
Linda's just screaming Beltane's name back in the real world.
Let's see, we shift back and as Beltane, you're reaching with your hand.
Yeah, just like finger just to touch it. Okay. Make sure it's not going to kill me.
We're just about to touch the water, and we shift back, and Lilith's face is in the camera. Beltane! In your voice is reverberating within this bubble. You're using your vampiric command voice, and it's we get that shaky cam kind of and
I don't think he can hear you.
If anything happens to him, this is your fault.
Why is it my fault?
It's your fault he's the way it is. We'll settle
this.
He's
human. Does Rue know that's what you're blaming her for?
She can figure it out.
She's giving her kind of a quirked eyebrow, like a confusion. She's gonna get out her cigarettes and light one up.
And when you take a puff, the smoke gets swirled to the outside, and tries to join the fog, but it kind of is just filling this bubble. Hazel, give me a fortitude roll.
Oh boy. God, I hope I'm good at these. Hey, that's a good use for a luck point right now. Oh, that's not bad. A fortitude? That's a 7. That's better than what I had before.
Right. So it's starting to take its toll on you.
Oh, that's fine.
So why don't you roll me a D8 and take that much? Well, divide it in half and take that much physique and that much sanity.
So I take 1 and 1?
Yep.
Because I rolled a 2. Does that eat into my temporary extra energy that I had?
For your hit points, but not your sanity.
Okay, got it.
Oh, we don't need her any more crazy than she already is, okay?
Just saying. So, what do you guys do? There is no Beltane.
I would like to see if I can merge this bubble into more like a bat or like a cylinder, and then do a clock sweep around the room that we're in.
All right. Go ahead, give me a power roll or whatever the power is based on.
Moxie. Nice. 14.
Yeah.
What was it?
14.
Yep. So you turn it into a cylinder, and as you're sweeping the room, it's just more fog. This is beyond the walls, beyond the fireplace.
Hey,
you're
Mrs.
seeing
L?
probably 50 feet or so, which should be the walls of the room, should be, half that. Should be like 20 feet away.
Is there something about your floor planning that you've been waiting to tell all of us until now?
I wish there was. Hazel.
Oh, good. I think you got an expansion. So
Oh, great.
that's a plus.
Redecorating. I don't think we're at home anymore.
Well, home is where the heart is.
Dear, I usually do really enjoy your little quips, but not now.
Okay.
Rue, give me a fortitude save. A roll, sorry.
Let's be honest. It's a save. 11.
11? Oh,
11.
awesome. You're like, nah, it's fog. Whatevers.
It was just pissing Lilith off even more.
Again, so Hazel is winging this cylinder of sight around like some weird flashlight of telekinetic power, and it blows past you, Rue, and it blows past you, Lilith, and when it hits you, you get thrown back a little bit because it's controlled and it's only trying to push fog. It hits you like someone hitting you with a pillow that is somehow able to go through you.
It's definitely messing up their hair.
Beltane, you touch the water. Oh, it's perfect. This is, wow, you get it. This is why humans do this. What do you do?
Just kind of sit back happily, wiggling my little tail I have, and realize there's a person next to me, and it's the person whose form I had taken. And his name is Dionysus.
Okay. Dionysus or Dionysus?
Dionysus.
Dionysus, he's got some nice thighs.
Okay, I'm just saying.
Ooh.
All right. And they smile.
He's the first human I had taken his name. He had given it to me willingly, and it would confuse me, but I didn't have to make a deal for his name. So we became fast friends, and over the 75 years we had as friends, I respected him the most.
Okay. I guess, was there a time where the two of you disagreed vehemently?
Yes, it was over how I should continue my path as a Fae. He thought I should be more passive, and I thought I should be more aggressive.
So as this argument was raging along, because you're reliving it, and you're not feeling good about this, how did you react, or how did you before reconciliation, what was your reaction, your anger, or what emotion were you feeling?
Because I was a young Fae, not really accustomed to humans, caused a food plague, robbed them of their spring harvest, because I could do that as a spring Fae. And I wanted him to see that I could do this. And I was wrong. Deeply, deeply wrong.
And as this this effect occurs and the harvest is affected, it gets out of control. It becomes a blight. The plants not only don't produce, but they wither and die. And they sort of, and it's going quickly. It's going really quickly. I mean, time is weird to you here anyway, but this is strange. This season's days are flashing, the coming by, and you're not moving anywhere. You and Dionysus seem to be stuck in this argument perpetually as time is zipping past. The plants turn to black and to mold, and they begin to cover the ground, and they're rolling along, and the black is beginning to devour everything in its path in all directions. And people seem to be stuck too. And as the black gets to the people, it crawls up them and turns them black, and they begin to melt down under this goo, this darkness. And as they grumble down, their mass spreads out and continues to crawl along the ground and infect that which is around it. You seem to have a small circle around you that it's not coming to, but eventually when the horizon is covered in black, the circle begins to shrink, and you notice that it touches Dionysus's ankle, his Achilles heel, as it were. What do you do?
It's more than I wanted or needed, and the anger passes, and I reach for Dionysus to pull him into my circle, closer to me, away from this black mass. This is, as angry as I was, I don't want him hurt.
As you pull him in, the black that had touched his Achilles heel comes with him, and it begins to eat him up. And it comes up his back, and it crawls up his front and across his face, and he looks pained and sad at the same time. And as he begins to collapse in on himself, the memory is too much to bear. Please roll me a d4.
One.
Take 1 sanity point of damage.
Okay.
And as you take this damage, you give me you can choose a fortitude or a brains roll.
Brains.
Okay.
Brains.
Okay, good. 10.
10. Excellent. As this damage is done to your psyche, you snap out of this reverie, and you realize that you're in the fog again. You're still damaged, but you are no longer in that memory, in that moment. The time has passed. Once again, lost in the fog. Back to the group. Hazel, what are you doing?
Well, my clock sweep strategy didn't work. So instead, I'm going to... The fog isn't an object, is it?
I don't know.
If I were
What do
to
you
try
wanna
and
do?
do object reading to see where the origin of this was coming from?
You certainly may try.
Excellent. I'll do that. Show me Moxie. That is a 10.
Excellent. This fog seems to be coming from a place of dread, primal dread. It's crushing, it's depressing, it's scary all at once. And if you would be so kind as to roll me a d4.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
That's a 1.
Oh,
Take 1 sanity damage.
I'm going to take 2 balls of thread out of my Monster Hunter briefcase.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to walk over to my sister, and I'm going to tie 1 ball of thread around her wrist. Hold on to that, stick that in my pocket, just kind of let it pull. I'm gonna walk over to Lilith and like make like I'm about to tie it to her, and I just kind of hand it to her, like just.
Okay.
Shrug.
What color is the thread you gave to your sister?
The color that I gave to my sister is red, and the color that I gave to Lilith is black.
Okay.
And Rue says, "I'm going in."
Okay.
Just kind of holding both balls of thread, and she walks backwards into the fog.
Whoa, 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 whoa,
Bye.
whoa, wait, no, hold up, come back, don't leave, please.
I poke my head back out. What?
This is a bad time. This is a bad time waiting to happen. I trust that you're you, and that you're gonna take care of yourself, but I'd kick myself if I let my sister go off into danger by herself.
All right. then hold on to that string, and ain't nothing bad gonna happen.
Miss L, Mr. B's gonna be right back. I know he is.
I'm gonna find him.
Let me put it this way. He can't hear us,
Just
but maybe he can feel us.
stay where you are for a moment. I don't need to be losing any more people. I'm gonna try to reach out with my shadows and see if I can feel where he is. Is that something I can do?
You can try.
I can try. Ooh, it's my charm, so I got some good charm. Let's see. Okay, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Okay. You realize that there's really no shadow. It's all just this opaque white fog. There's no the fog itself seems to have a light of its own, but you can't get a shadow to appear anywhere.
She just has this look of frustration. She'll tie the thing around her wrists and she'll just like, stay together, and she'll walk into the fog.
Okay. You follow along.
How it is, she gets to go.
I don't you hear from behind. I don't make stupid decisions like someone who almost summoned the devil herself. She's walking.
She's talking about you. That makes it so much easier.
Do you guys follow? Is the question.
Follow after her?
Yeah. Yes. Do you follow after her? Either of you. The Harkers are standing there. The string is stretching out into the fog.
What happens when it runs out?
I don't know.
It's a long, thin thread.
Hazel is going to choose to stay with her sister rather than following Lilith directly.
All right. Lilith, you're hearing the string, and then you're not hearing the string. And the string is continuing along. When was the first time you were hunted by vampire hunters?
I would say into the first couple of years of her being turned to a vampire. She tried to escape her sire, not knowing where she was, and ran into some vampire hunters.
And I take it was at night?
Yeah.
And they were on your trail.
Mm-hmm. She still hadn't had like the whole gist of being a vampire. She only been like maybe a couple of years old as a vampire.
And were you in a city, a village, or the woods?
The woods.
Okay. So they are armed with fire and crossbow, and they are pursuing you. You can hear them behind you. What do you do?
Do I realize that this is like kind of like illusion, or should I roll if I give into fear? Or
you can roll brains or moxie on this.
same thing. 9.
9. Okay. In which did you roll, brains or moxie?
Brains.
Okay.
Sure.
So you start picking out details about this that is, it wrong. You're like, yeah, okay, this is not real.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, you take 1d4 damage, sanity damage.
That's fair. I'd say that she knows is not real, but it's like it's kind of when you have anxiety and
Mhm.
you know something's not true or real, but you still feel that creeping fear and
Yep.
like tightness around you.
Yeah, and you're taking steps, and it's the world is feeling janky, and like you're gonna step and fall off the edge of the world because you're trying to disbelieve it.
Mm-hmm. So you said sanity?
Yes.
That is -3
Okay.
because I
All right.
rolled a 3.
Um. So the hunters are still back there, but now the world is getting turned a bit, and like I said, you feel like you're gonna fall, and the they are coming, and then you start to hear dogs barking, and you're seeing more torches uh than there was at the time.
Mm-hmm.
um what do you do? You don't really remember dogs, but maybe there was dogs.
She starts picking up her pace. I'll start kind of like start like walking fast, then turns into a jog, then kind of turns into a run, and she's still like part of her is like this is an illusion. You need to find Beltane, so she's still kind of screaming out for Beltane, but she's just most of her is just like kind of running away from this.
um Go ahead and make me an agility roll.
Should I use my luck point? Should
Hmm.
I use my luck point?
That's a play
I
it,
mean,
isn't it?
Use it.
it's 7, so it's a partial success, but
Use the luck.
I'll use the luck point.
Okay.
I should have taken that partial success. It's a 2.
All right.
Yeah.
Mark the experience.
Yeah.
And bam, you stumble, you trip, you notice that you were like almost leaping from like tree trunk to tree trunk, parkour style, and you slam into a tree, a branch that's broken off, and it's wooden, and it nearly enters your heart. Roll a d4 and take that much physique damage.
Oof. Why do I keep rolling 3s?
Because you're a good roller.
I don't like it. Okay. I am much sturdier than I am saner, apparently. So.
All right, so you this branch spikes into you, you spin off of it, and now it feels like you're running straight up, uh straight up, but the leaves aren't falling towards you, and the eh, it's almost like, inception, like the world has turned on you, and you're kind of going on all fours.
Would you say
What?
that because I took that sanity damage, I like fully believe I'm in this now?
No, because you rolled really good.
Okay.
You're not believing yet. But taking a stake to the heart has
Yeah.
pushed you a bit. What four-legged animal does Lilith find disgusting?
Four-legged animal that she finds disgusting. See, I can only think about dogs, but I love dogs, so I'm not gonna do that. So, four-legged animal. Why can't I think of animals right now?
A possum, a pig.
Uh,
A
Poss.
pangolin.
I knew that's what you did. I was
Let's
hoping she wouldn't say it.
let's go with possum because
All
they're a
right.
little gross.
And like I said, as you were going along, your hand hits the leaf, and you notice your skin is gray, and you have blackened nails, and your fingers become a little truncated, but they're still
Am I
fingers.
becoming a possum?
Yes, you're becoming a possum. Your skin is pale, and your fur is the white kind of mangy fluff that is a possum, and your nose stays pink, but it is a pink possum nose now.
I don't like it.
And you hear the dogs, and the dogs sound humongous. They must be the size of beer trucks, and they're rolling towards you. You can hear the thunderous broof broof broof, and it's making your tail quake. Please roll me a fortitude roll.
Oh no. Okay, one second. Okay. Okay. I don't like this. I'm gonna use my baby dice. My little for you those who haven't seen it, I have a little baby dice. Oh well, that baby dice is gonna go back in the corner. Time out again. That you said fortitude.
Yep.
A 7. I'm gonna keep it this time.
All right. You managed. Your little possum heart. Your little possum heart is pounding. It's beating. And you're trying so hard not to play dead. So hard to not pass out. Tree. You've made it to the tree. Now you feel like you're hanging, like the tree comes out of the ground this way, and you feel like you're hanging off it, and gravity feels like you're gonna fall off the trunk of this tree, and you're moving along. Hey, Hazel. So the string keeps getting slack on your sister.
Oh, I was like right next to her.
You can't see your hand in front of your face.
Even with making...
Are you still trying?
Oh, yeah. I'm not getting lost in this.
Then
kidding me?
then please make me another roll.
This nightmare fog. What am I, stupid?
That is a total of 7.
All right. So give me roll me a d4 and split it between sanity and physique.
4, so I take 2 and 2.
2 and 2. Yeah, this is taking a lot of your energy.
So I can see that this is like trying to keep the telekinesis force wall up against the fog is hurting my sister. And I'm just gonna like walk up to her and hook my arm into hers and say, just let it fall. You keep going on like this, it's gonna hurt you more than this fog can hurt the both of us together. So let's do it.
For the last 5 years, I've been a little bit sturdier than you've been giving me credit for. I'm not letting this fall, and I ain't letting you out of my sight. Not again.
Harker Sisters Showdown.
Enemy.
Yeah. That's how samurai eyes.
Swing.
Exactly.
God.
Exactly.
Black bars.
Come in sideways, yeah.
Because if I lost you, wouldn't be nothing left. I've already lost John. Miss Lilith's nice, but she can be a bit bossy sometimes.
You hear foghorn.
We're not normally near the harbor up here.
And then do you look towards the foghorn?
No.
Give me a moxie roll to not look towards the foghorn.
Show me some moxie. That's a 9.
All right. Okay. What is it that you drop or lose track of instead of looking at the foghorn? The string, your sister, jambalaya.
I will never lose jambalaya. I will lose.
You monster, dear.
I will drop Miss Lilith's string.
Oh,
Okay.
you fucker.
Okay. All right. Okay. So you don't look away. The foghorn sounded, and
Actually, no, hold on. I'm holding Lilith's string. So if you lose Lilith's string, Guess who you just let go of?
No, wait, no, go back.
Bye-bye.
Slides into the fog.
I will lose my Rowan bracelet that was given to me by Mr. B as a form of protection against other Fae things.
All right. Okay. You ignored the foghorn, and you and your sister are in the having the samurai stare at one another. And what is the resolution?
I'm gonna put it this way, hon. You can either drop it now, or you can pass out, and then I have to face this fog alone.
I'm gonna be fine.
All right. Prove it.
Prove it with what?
Prove it by staying awake.
Okay. Done. And she just motions like, I'm awake. Congrats.
And so, Rue, when was the time that as children you lost an argument to Hazel? Well, she was definitively right, and you were not happy about it.
I used to work as a newsie when I was young to help out our mom. And I went out to go earn money instead of staying home. And our apartment burned down.
Ooh. Okay. And what was it that the argument was about? She told you not to go?
Yeah, Hazel wanted me to stay because our dad was being a jerk and she didn't want to face him alone.
Okay. Hazel, was dad being a jerk the reason the apartment burned down?
Yes.
And what was your involvement in it?
My involvement was, I like to think that it was mom and dad were fighting. I was told to go to my room. I was forced to go in my room, I will say, with a strong hand, and then the door was locked. Dad drank later that evening, fell asleep with a cigarette in his hand. I got rescued by the fire department.
And as you were being carried out by the fire department, that's when Rue came back with an empty newsy bag.
Why do you think my voice sounds like this? It was smoke
no.
damage as a child.
And you know, Rue had a pocket full of nickels, but an empty bag of newspapers. And Rue, you see the fire truck there, and you see your sister being carried by this scrappy
Covered in
fireman.
soot, but with like the most poignant glare a younger child sibling can give to their older sibling.
Your father is actually laid out on the ground on a blanket, and your mother is hysterically shouting at a policeman or a fireman. You don't know. What do you do, Rue?
I'm gonna. My mom and my sister like are conscious. I'm gonna drop my newsy bag and run over to my father and see how he's doing.
Okay. Drunk as a skunk. Passed out, blackout drunk.
I'm going to just like confirmed that he's alive. Accidentally kick him as I run over to check on Hazel.
Okay. And as you're like, there, the fireman at your dad, the fireman's like, wait, hold on there, sweetie. And he's pulling you away from him when you accidentally kick him. And it's like, we just got to let him sleep it off. They'll
Hey, who you calling sweetie?
and that's thank you. I'm so hoping I put it there just for that kind of thing. And he's like, well, you young lady, calling you sweetie. Now go to your mother. And he like kind of pushes you that direction.
Thumbs her nose at him and goes check on mom.
Okay. Your mom is actually Hazel. What is your mom doing? Saying to the firemen, policemen?
My mom is probably coming up with at least a dozen excuses as to why this isn't her husband's fault and why it's hers.
Yep. How does that affect young Hazel hearing that as she's being carried up by one of the firemen?
Hazel is just looking over at deadbeat dad with the most venomous glare that an 8-year-old can possibly muster.
And when your mother sees you being carried by the firemen, how does she react? She didn't know that you were in there or alive or dead. You know what I mean? She thought maybe you were out with Rue.
At this point, Hazel is just like covered in soot from having been inside of a burning building and just looks over at her mom and then just tries to look anywhere but at her mother.
Okay. Is Hazel crying?
Yes, but they're angry tears. It's not sad tears.
Right.
And it's just cutting through the soot that is on her cheeks.
Yes, exactly. Okay. And
definitely like biting lower lip, probably like a little bit of blood.
Okay. Yeah, give me a D4 psychic damage on that.
That's a 3. Oh, my sanity's looking good.
We don't need her more crazy, guys.
Oh, she's
I'm
so
at an
tough.
8.
Ooh, she can take care of herself. Ooh.
She can. As long as it's not 2 4s, we're fine.
I'm just real quick gonna say, night, Hype Goblin. Thanks for hanging out.
Night.
Good night.
We love you, Sarah.
So, Rue, how did this situation, as you remember it, how did it affect you? Was your mother's hysteria and making excuses for your father more the bigger effect, or was it the deadbeat dad burning your place down in the first place?
I think it's a combination of both. I think that Rue doubles down on trying to find independence. I think that she already knew that she couldn't trust her dad, but this was the first time that she realized that she can't trust her mom either.
And let's just go ahead and roll a D6 then and divide it between health and sanity.
All right, that's 3.
All right, give it 2 and 2. Sorry.
That's fine.
We rounding up. We in the danger zone.
You are in the danger zone. You're in the danger fog. All right. Beltane. How did Dionysus die?
And Dionysus died of old age. He lived a comfortable life, mostly with me kind of just taking over his garden, watching over the family until he passed. And then I moved on.
And so did you attend his funeral?
I did. I let his son light the pyre because that was the most appropriate thing I could think of at the time. It was the first time I really experienced death.
And was Beltane in love with Dionysus, as far as Fae and human can go?
It was a platonic relationship. He loved him as a friend, a close friend. He was the first human he came to know and opened this world of possibilities Beltane never knew existed until that point.
Okay. So as the flames creep up the pyre and begin to lick at his funeral shroud, it begins to burn away. He sits up and he screams. He screams as only a man on fire can. What do you do?
I back up, and mostly out of fear and confusion, because fire to me is a thing of safety, of protection. So seeing it do this is wildly out of my element. It scares me. I'm not sure why it's acting that way. I know that the protection element's supposed to be there. That's why we insisted on the pyre. That's why we insisted on burning the body. So it was respect. It was protection. It was to make sure he could pass on to a good life beyond wherever he went.
Give me a moxie roll.
Okay.
We're all going insane in this game.
Yeah.
It's
10.
10. Excellent. So with that, you were able to pull down the flames. You were able to reach in with your Fey magic and pull the flames back down into the pyre, and he leaps from the fire, and he's still on fire. And now he touches the sun standing there holding the torch, and the sun begins to burn. The flesh immediately bubbles, and the fire's spreading across the sun.
damn.
The sun.
I just got turned into an opossum. I don't know. You're like watching everybody melt.
I think this would conjure up memories of the Library of Alexandria, the Great Fire of London,
Okay.
the Great Fire of Paris, because I witnessed them all.
Okay.
Maybe he started them all.
I did.
Give me either a brains or fortitude roll.
Okay. I'm gonna go with brains again.
Okay.
Okay, that's good. That's good. 11.
Okay. You were conjuring those memories, and as these people keep reaching out and calling to one another, as they're rushing in to help one another, the fire is just spreading to the next person and the next person and the next person. But your brain is strong enough to sort this out and to focus, and suddenly they're not people anymore. It's the books on the shelves in the Library of Alexandria. You can save one book. What one book do you save?
Oh no. A folktale. Something that can't be translated because the language is lost, but I have it. In fact, I have it in the real world. I keep it in a little leather shelf.
All right. So you save this book as it's as the library burns, and as that happens, you begin to realize that the loss of this knowledge is going to shape the world to come, that it will be thousands of years before people, because you've lived those thousands of years, you're now able to be in this place but see forward. But you see that because this knowledge is burning, these people will have wars, have religions that may never have come about. Millions will die because of these philosophies, because of these religions. This choice to save this one single book is partially responsible for the bad that has happened in the world. Give me a 1d4 sanity roll. Very nice. Lilith, you're a possum.
Yeah, I am.
Hanging from a tree that's somehow jetting straight out of the earth sideways, and your fur and your tail, you feel like you're gonna fall off at any moment. Can you give me a dexterity roll?
Sure. Why not? That's a 5.
Oh,
I'll use that luck point. Yeah, why not?
okay.
I'll give in to indoors peer pressure.
No point in dying with luck points.
Right. Okay, that's a lot better. 9.
9. All right. You managed to hold on. But you hear the hunters coming, but they don't sound like medieval, hunters. They sound more like, I don't know, Louisiana hillbillies. Possum, them's good eatings. Here, give me that shotgun. Are you more afraid of hunters or hunters? Vampire hunters or these hillbillies? As a possum.
As a possum?
Mm-hmm.
Hillbillies.
Give
As
me
a vampire? I'm more
me,
afraid of the vampire hunters.
Give me either a moxie or a brain roll to.
8.
8. And did you roll moxie or brains?
Brains.
Brains. That's when you realize the crossbow bolt hits you. And the shotgun blast fired a crossbow bolt at you. That's not right. Something's odd. But the D4 damage to physique is true and real.
I keep rolling 3s. Okay. Y'all. Okay. Wow.
Okay. We have 5 minutes. Is this a storyline we want to continue in our next Looming 20 session, or do you want me to try to wrap up quickly?
I honestly like the idea of this being how we start the next session, because it'll be one of those things we'll be like, oh boy, I can't wait to play again. I'm a possum?
With a crossbow bolt and a stake in me?
I just witnessed humans burn down the most precious source of knowledge, so, yeah.
Hey, I'm a scrappy newsie again.
I'm crying and no one's listening to me.
It's just my real life.
So my vote is to continue it next time.
Yes.
Because it gives us
that's
a
gonna
good
be
point
so
to pick up
long.
on.
All right. Well, then, with that, let us mark down. Lilith is a possum with a stake in her from Louisiana
Should have picked the
hillbillies
dog.
who fired the shotgun. Rue is a newsie who just got mansplained away from kicking her drunkard father. Exactly. And Hazel is a forgotten child, and Beltane is
Regretting his life choices.
regretting the fact that the universe has suffered due to their choice. From there,
Yep.
I got
Let
these
us-
notes.
let us say that the dread of the season is definitely upon you.
Guys, we have to play this more often. I can't do
When we get... Hey, November is just around the corner. Maybe we pick an early week in November.
Please do. Please do.
We will do our best.
All
So,
right.
with that, I would like to say thank you, GB, for running this excellent game. I got to flirt with a blob.
Bob the Blob.
All right, so, GB, take us away. Where can we find you? What do you do?
I'm Graybeard of Graybeard's Tavern, and the best place to find me is to look at Twitter, because I constantly retweet and tweet and post there, and my schedule is the first thing pinned to the top of it. And I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but I will say some stuff that I have coming up. Definitely Mondays and Tuesdays, at least, I hang out with these beautiful people in chat over at Indoor Adventure. I'm in chat, but the games are great, so give them a follow, watch, subscription, all that goodness. Wednesdays, maybe I'm here, or for at least 3 or 4 more weeks, I'm on Pro Restarter's channel. And on Wednesdays, on Thursdays, I'm over on Encounter Roleplay. Every other Friday, I'm on Barry's Damn It Barry's channel, doing Saltmarsh. And every other Sunday, I am on Game Nights with Monster of the Week. And every Sunday, you can come join me to play a little Darkest Dungeon, where I love to play with my toys, and you can hang out and play with me and the toys at the same time. 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's me. I did do my whole schedule. I'm sorry. Next.
All right, and Satan, where can we find you? What do you do?
Hi, my name's Satan, and you can find me on Twitter at @ElsaVamp. And I used to have my schedule pinned, but now I don't. So on Mondays I'm over at Pro Restarter channel if you want to come find me. We're doing it's our last episode of our Dark Sun campaign. You should come watch it. We're fighting a crazy black dragon, like literally, like he's insane. So that's gonna be really fun. I play a really cool UNT rogue, and then every other Friday, I'm playing Saltmarsh with GB over at Demabear's channel. And Saturdays, I'm over at my main channel, which is Plot Hunters, where we're playing D&D, but it is something about temples.
Tomb of Annihilation.
That one.
Yes.
Tomb of Annihilation. I'm very tired. And I'm about to pull an all-nighter, so that's fun. College life. And I'm gonna plug myself in. I'm doing commissions. Actually, the little pictures that you see of us, I did them. They're really cool. I'm doing commission for portraits like that. And little Mike, I'm a poor college student. If you want to come support me, and I'm gonna be doing some really cool portraits of GB's characters in this game. So look forward for that. You go over my Twitter. It's my commission is pinned to my page. I'm poor.
All right, and Danae, where can we find you? What do you do?
Hi everybody, my name's Danae Keener. You can find me at DanaeKeener.com. I do nerdy drawings mostly related to D&D and things on this channel. Oh god, I'm eating straight coffee beans right now. You can also find me here on Mondays playing Coriander the Eldrin Paladin in our homebrew game, and on Tuesdays playing Shroud, except for next week because GB's going to be running for us on actually on Monday and on Tuesday. So I'm looking forward to that. More of this. It's going to be great. DanaeKeener.com.
And Jen.
I am Jen. You can find me over at Twitter at LaughmakerDND if you want to come tweet. You can find me every Sunday over at the SS Adventures channel playing a Halfling Shadow Sorcerer, and every other Thursday, starting in November, I will be DMing over at Vladirin's Raptor Pack. So see what we're gonna head into.
Excellent! And if you've made it this far, you probably already know who I am. But if you don't, hey fella, what's up? It's me, your buddy, your pal, your friend, the Indoor Adventurer, the showrunner here at twitch.tv/Indoor Adventures. We do this podcast Monday, Tuesday, and Thursdays at 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If this is your first time joining us, consider going to youtube.com/Indoor Adventures or anywhere where podcasts are available. You can find us under the same name. We are going to be going into our after show supported by patrons. So if you go to patreon.com/Indoor Adventures, you can find access to Nights in the Courtyard, where we answer questions not only from the community at large, but also from each other. And honestly, our Looming 20s after shows usually go for like 40 minutes to an hour of just us being like, oh my god, backstory though. So consider checking it out if you are a fan of this series. But we are going to be heading into that. Once again, GB, thank you so much for running this game and inventing this system. Thank you to all of these excellent other fellow players of mine for agreeing to do this on such an irregular schedule. And we will try and be back soon. So, don't go anyplace. All right, everybody. Bye-bye.